The Tudor Black Bay 54 was one of the pinnacle releases at Watches and Wonders, and today we're discussing whether it's too small. The Tudor Black Bay 54 was the pinnacle release from Tudor this year at Watches and Wonders 2023, and today I'm going to be answering the question that every single one of you are asking. Welcome back to Time on the Wrist at Chisholm Hunter. My name is Harrison, as always. And today we have the Black Bay 54 in the Chisholm Hunter watch box. I've managed to spend some quality time with this watch. I've managed to get this watch on the wrist, and I've managed to get an overall opinion of this watch that's not influenced by the marketing and hype from Watches and Wonders. So let's talk about it. Let's start with all the basic specs of this watch, and then at the end we will cover whether I think it's too small or not. So let's not keep you waiting any longer. Let's get our trusty toolkit out and begin talking about these specs. So the case diameter on this watch comes in at 37.1 millimeters. But believe it or not, it actually wraps around your wrist really, really nicely. And I think that's partly due to the thickness of this watch. It has a thickness of 11.24 millimeters. So it is quite slim. And believe it or not, this is partly due to the fact that it has the same movement as the Tudor Pelagos 39. The lug-to-lug of this model comes in at 46 millimeters, maybe just over 46 millimeters. And I promise you this, when you have this watch on the wrist, it wraps around your wrist seamlessly. It looks beautiful. I have 6.5 inch wrists, and to be honest, I totally did not expect this to fit, but it does. Now, when it comes to sizing on this Tudor model, if this is that slight bit too small for you, you do have other options to go for. You have the Tudor Black Bay Heritage Edition, which is the 41mm variant. It comes in at 41 millimeters in diameter. You have the Tudor Black Bay 58, which comes in at 39 millimeters in diameter, and Drew has just bought one. And then you have this, the Tudor Black Bay 54, which comes in at 37 millimeters in diameter. And if you're confused by the 54 name, it's because that's when the original Tudor Submariner was launched. The case and the bracelet of this model are made from stainless steel. Now, no links have been taken out of this watch, and to be fair to the Tudor Black Bay 54, I did not expect it to be this hefty for such a small, dainty watch. I did not expect it to weigh what it does, but let's get this on the scales to show you exactly what it weighs. So this comes in at, according to our scales, 140 grams. The bracelet on this model has a 3-link approach, the central bracelet being the largest and then the outer two being smaller. And it all comes in brushed stainless steel, apart from the edges, which are in polished. This bracelet also slightly tapers in and actually looks pretty nice on the wrist. And to top off, it has been fitted with the Tudor T-Fit clasp. Now, this has micro extensions that you don't need any tools for. You can just slide it up and down like so. It's really, really easy to use, and actually, I have to give Tudor kudos there because they listened to their audience. They listened to us, the watch enthusiasts, and they added this into their bracelet. And I think it's a brilliant system. Now, a good thing about this micro extension system that is so quick and easy to use is when you're in hot countries especially. I don't really go there very often because I live in Scotland and it's freezing, but when you are in hot countries, your body naturally expands, and this is because of the heat. Now, when your body does expand, you can slightly increase the size of that bracelet to fit your wrist exactly. With all that said, I have to say, I still do prefer the rubber strap. I just think it looks absolutely sexy as hell on this watch. It looks incredible, and the way that it integrates into the case looks so futuristic and brilliant to me. Now, I live quite an active lifestyle. I climb Munros, I do a lot of photography, do a lot of videography, so I'd be quite scared with this watch that I would scratch that bracelet. But with the rubber strap, I would be less scared. So I think the rubber strap, that's for me. Another reason why I would go for the rubber strap is the price. It is slightly less expensive than the bracelet. Now, the bracelet variant of this model comes in at £3,200, whereas the rubber strap variant comes in at £3,030. And for me, £170 is a hell of a lot of money. And I don't have much money at the moment. I've bloody spent it all on watches, thanks to you guys. When we look at the case a little bit closer, you can see that it has polished metal down the sides of the case, which accentuate those lines and make it quite eye-catching on the wrist, especially when viewing it at an angle when you have your wrist flat like this. And those polished sides to the case can all be seen on the Chisholm Hunter website, where we're official stockists of Tudor watches. Make sure you click the link below if you want to shop any Tudor watches in the collection. And now we move on to the face, the bezel, and the crown of this model. The bezel on this model is a 60-minute unidirectional bezel in stainless steel with an aluminium insert. And this bezel has been devoid of minute markers. This model has domed sapphire crystal glass, and that is a throwback to the 1954 variant. And to top off, it is waterproof to 200 meters. Not water resistant, waterproof. Before we get into the face of this model, let's cover three main differences between this model and the Black Bay 58. And there is three that you need to bear in mind. The main difference is the Lollipop second hand. Now when you look at the Black Bay Heritage or the Black Bay 58, you can see the Snowflake second hand, not the Lollipop. But they've brought the Lollipop back for this specific model. Next up, we have the teeth on the bezel. Now when you look at the teeth in the bezel of the 58 or the Heritage Edition, they are extremely tight notches on the bezel, whereas on the 54, they're slightly bigger and slightly more grippy, I would say, than the other two. And finally, we get to the crown, which of course, fitting this model is slightly smaller, but it looks a lot more teethy. It looks like it has more grip on it than the last ones. The notches are a lot bigger and further apart than the previous two models. This new crown design on the 54 actually is kind of a throwback to the older reference 7922, which is a pretty nice throwback. The dial on this watch, of course, comes in black, and the seconds and the indices have a gold gilt to them. They look pretty vintage against that black dial and still remain pretty easy to read. The text on this model is also in gold, which plays wonderfully into that vintage aesthetic that we know and love from Tudor. At 12 o'clock, you have the Tudor logo, which has that iconic shield. Now remember that that iconic shield actually used to be that iconic rose, and they changed this in 2016. This watch, of course, being a sports watch, also features superluminova. So let's take a look at that now. As you can see, the lume on this model shines bright green. It's actually very, very impressive, especially for the size of this model. It has a dot on the bezel, making this a fully functioning dive watch. We've covered the face, the dial, the bracelet, the T-Fit clasp, the Lollipop second hand, the new crown, the notched bezel, but what we haven't covered is the movement. But before we cover the movement, I just want to say a special thank you to everyone watching this video. Everyone that approached me at Watches and Wonders and had a brilliant watch chat. We are truly building the best watch community on YouTube, and I loved seeing you guys at Watches and Wonders. Our next goal on this YouTube channel is 50k subscribers, so if you could hit that subscribe button and help us reach that goal, it would be much appreciated. The movement on this model is of course fully automatic, and it's the caliber MT5400. Now this movement is COSC certified. It's not METAS certified, but in my opinion, I think METAS certification for this model is coming soon. This movement has a bi-directional rotor system and 70 hours of power. 70 hours of power have been squished into a pretty small 11.24 millimeter case. That's pretty impressive. Now, a lot of the marketing that Tudor have done, especially around their new movements, are showing off their new factory with these brilliant robots that are flying around creating these movements. Now, obviously they're all still handcrafted, but they have the help of robots, which is pretty incredible. You should watch some of the marketing. And now to answer the question that I know a lot of you will have come here for. Is this watch too small? Have Tudor gone too far in the opposite direction to which they should have? Let's talk about it. There is a trend in the industry at the moment where everything is getting smaller, where gents and ladies want smaller watches. And what we can see in the fashion industry that's being replicated in the luxury watch industry, only slower, is trends repeating themselves. Everyone wanted a Nokia little brick phone that was like this size. Then all of a sudden, iPhone came out. Everyone got bigger and bigger and bigger phones. And then all of a sudden, people are wanting smaller phones. People are wanting little phones that they can put on their wrist. And that's kind of what's happening with watches. You know what? I think this watch is too small for me. I do. But that doesn't make it wrong. It just means that my tastes are different to yours, are different to Drew's, are different to other people's, and that's fine. That's what this industry is about. It's about having your own tastes, your own style. Let's look at Britt Pierce for a second.
So I did a thing. A very financially irresponsible thing. I've I've bought a new watch.
Our fellow watch YouTuber, she just bought the Black Bay 54 because it's perfect for her. And just because it's not perfect for me doesn't make it wrong. I just prefer slightly bigger watches because I'm 6'2". I'm a bigger gen. I have to say, I am absolutely obsessed with where Tudor are going at the moment. Offering METAS and COSC certification for about £3,000 is just absolutely unbelievable. And after having a meeting with Tudor, I know that the direction they're taking the brand is trying to roll that METAS and COSC certification out to their other models within the next 2 or 3 years, offering the best product possible for the best price possible. On that note, I have to say that I'm super excited for the next video we're filming at the Chisholm Hunter channel because it is my favorite, probably, is it my favorite? Yeah, it's probably my favorite release from Tudor this year. If you want to see that, please hit this subscribe button. If you want to see more watch content, please hit this little video right here. And if you want to see us on Instagram, or me on Instagram, actually not even me, it's more just watches on Instagram, please follow the Chisholm Hunter Watches Instagram page, and I'll see you guys in a couple of days.